Hello.
All right, and action.
2,
Davis.
3. What? Oh, sorry.
We're trying to film.
Sorry. Okay, we're ready. Sorry guys, I have this innate desire to bust out some pull-ups anytime I see a bar. It's kind of a problem. So anyways, hey everyone, as usual, I am really excited because today it's back day and I love me some back. Similar to our chest workout video, we're gonna break down the anatomy of our backs so that you have a solid foundation and understanding of how to properly hit your back at the gym. In addition, we're going to discuss some of the most common do's and don'ts that I see on a regular basis when it comes to back. This way, when you're at the gym, you can get the most efficient workout possible. So let's get started. When it comes to our back, the anatomy is definitely more complicated than our chest. A lot of people, and back in the day, myself included, had no idea how many muscles were actually back there. When someone says a back workout, the only muscle that really comes to mind is our latissimus dorsi, or our lats. This lack of knowledge leads to a tendency of incomplete workouts, as well as performing exercises poorly. This not only reduces the efficiency of your workout, but it also puts your body in kind of precarious situations. So let's take a look at our anatomy. With there being so many muscles in our back, we want to have a solid understanding of how each one works. I'm gonna break down back day at the gym into 2 videos. This week's video, we're going to cover what I would consider the major muscles in your back. These include your latissimus dorsi, or your lats, the teres major, which is somewhat of a minor muscle, but it goes hand in hand with your lats, so I like to clump them together. Then we have our traps, our trapezius, and we're just going to talk about the mid-traps today. And finally, our spinae erector muscles. Now, I'd like to add that the spinae erector or erector spinae, it's a group of 3 muscles that contains one of my favorite muscles to say, and that is the longissimus. It's fun. Anyways, I promise that after today, you'll have a solid understanding of how your back works, and this will immensely improve your time at the gym. Now that we have the breakdown of how important it is to understand our back anatomy, let's see what it looks like. So let me take my shirt off here. This guy. Okay, let's take it. Okay. So the first one we're going to look at is the latissimus dorsi, or the lats. Now, the origin of this is a little complicated, but because there's like 8 places that it starts from. But for lifting purposes, all you really need to know, I'll flex so you can see it, is that it starts about right here, and then all the muscle fibers run up and attach up to our armpit and attach into our humerus. So I'll flex so you can see it, and it's the downward facing triangle muscle kind of at the back. And it's responsible for extension, so this motion, and then abduction, which is bringing your limbs or anything towards the center of your body. So honestly, even though pull-ups and chin-ups are great for your lats, the single best exercise, in my opinion, is lat extensions. Because when you're doing them, either with a rope or with a bar, you're bringing your arms in and bringing them down, which is the exact function of what your lats are supposed to do. So make sure in your back workouts you always have a set of lat extensions. So the next one we have is the teres major. So I'll flex a little bit so you can see it. And it's this muscle that it's right underneath my armpit, and it kind of makes up the gap between the armpit and the lat. And its function basically just help the lats do their job. And it also does shoulder stabilization. The best way to work it is to do wide grip pull-ups. And the reason for this is it starts at the base of your scapula, your shoulder blade, and then it runs up and attaches into your humerus. So let me show you. We'll do some wide lat pull-ups up here. So we'll retract our shoulder blades and do a pull-up, come back down, and you get a nice big stretch. And you can see the teres major getting a lot of motion as we're doing the pull-up. So, like I said before, wide grip pull-ups and wide grip pull-downs are some of the easiest and best ways to hit your teres major. So third, we have the trapezius, or our traps. Now there are three parts to the trap: the superior, the middle, and the inferior. Today we're just going to talk about mid traps. Now your mid trap starts basically at the first vertebrae of your thoracic spine, which is like, it's about right here, and it runs to your T5, which is the fifth vertebrae. So it's about that big of a muscle, and it starts about here and then runs straight across and attaches into our shoulder, and it's responsible for scapular retraction. So anytime we're doing motions that brings our shoulders back, we're hitting our mid traps. So as you can imagine, bent over rows hit the mid traps, barbell rows hit the mid traps, but my personal favorite are dumbbell shrugs on an incline bench. Essentially, you're gonna lay flat on an incline, or you can do it standing, and you're gonna hold dumbbells down, and you're gonna retract your shoulder blades, your scapulas, squeeze, and then relax. Pull them back, squeeze, and relax. I like to do mid to heavier weight where I can get anywhere from 10 to 12 reps. So for me, it'll be 50 to 60 pound dumbbells, and make sure to get a good 1 to 2 second contraction when you're doing these. Now the third we have is called the erector spinae. And if you look at my back down here, you can see it starts way down here at the sacrum, and they run all the way up your spine and attach at the base of your skull. Now these muscles are in control of making your back straight. Anytime you are doing a bent over motion, so for example, if I'm here, my erector spinae are engaged. They're keeping my back nice and straight. And as you can imagine, deadlifts are hands down the best exercise to work these, but they're complicated and dangerous. So unless you know how to deadlift, I don't really recommend using them. The best exercise that you can do for these, in my opinion, is just Supermans, and I'll show you what those look like. So I'm gonna walk through with you some examples of what a Superman looks like, so you can make sure and work your spinal stabilizers, your erector spinae, well from home. So we're gonna get down. I usually like to have a mat on the floor, but you don't really need one. And the couple keys to keep in mind is that you want to keep your shoulder blades retracted, and you don't want them elevated, you want them distracted, okay? So you don't want your shoulders up here when you're doing these, you want them down here. Next, what you want to focus on is lifting your legs and your chest up off the mat. So you want to go up, hold it for, I don't know, anywhere from 2 to 3 seconds, and then back down. Relax, and then come up, hold it, 3, 2, 1, and come back down. And if you can, focus on getting your chest and your quads off the mat. So I'll do 1 or 2 more here, and up, 1, 2, 3, and then 1 more rep, up, 1, 2, and 3. And these are great because you can do them from the comfort of your own living room, and they will really help strengthen your spinae erector and stabilize your spine. Now that we have a understanding of our anatomy and know how our back works, let's take a look at some of the do's and don'ts that I see most often in the gym. The first one is with the lat pull down. And the issue I see is people pulling it too far forward, and instead of stopping and focusing on lat contraction, they pull the bar too far in front of them and start to internally rotate their shoulder. And that's a no-no because it takes all the tension off our lats. I'll show you what it looks like. So we'll start with wide lat here. We're gonna come down. So once you get to about here, the weight starts to get heavy, and people internally rotate their shoulders because they think the further down the weight they get, the better the contraction and the muscle work is, and that's not true. So again, I'll show you. So we'll get down here, and then people will internally rotate their shoulders to get the bar down. And that is a great way to injure your shoulders. So what you want to do is come back, pull it down, and focus on contracting those lats as much as possible, releasing, coming back down, making sure there is no rotation in our shoulders, right? Because again, this is what we want to avoid. Now there are two efficient ways to do pull-ups, or I'm sorry, lat pull downs. You can either go straight down. This kind of inhibits me a little bit. But some research shows that leaning back at 135 degrees actually has greater lat stimulation. Personally, I like leaning back as well. I feel I can get a better contraction when I do it this way. And that's the first do and don't for our back. So the next issue I see is with people doing back exercises and they have elevated traps. So I'm gonna show you with some rows here on the dumbbells. So we'll be bent over. People wanna be doing maybe some bent over rows like this. They'll have their traps up here and be doing rows like this. And again, this is more of a trap exercise, upper traps. This isn't really working our back. So what we wanna do, like I said before, is we want to depress our shoulder blades, retract them, and do our rows. And this also leads into the third do and don't, and that's the bounce. And I see it all the time, and there is a time and place for cheat reps, but 90% of the time, you don't need to be doing cheat reps. I'll show you what the bounce is. People will go bounce, 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 trying to get the weight up. And again, you're not getting good muscle contraction, so you're not really working your muscles. Like we said before, what we want to do is focus on depressing and retracting our shoulders. Nice, slow, concentrated reps so that we can really feel the muscle fibers tear and stretch. And that's how you get a good workout. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. Hopefully you found the video helpful. Or if you have any questions, please leave a comment below. Hope you all have a joy-filled, blessed week, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.